Hey everyone, majictablitskittles here, and I am back with, Hey everyone, Artfinitii here, and I am back with another drawing update. You can, just to get a thing out of the way, you can still call me Skittles. I don't mind being called Skittles. I'm actually kind of used to it. But I just changed the channel name so you guys can actually find me easier. With that being said, I have a lot of drawings that I've gone through and put together over the last year and a half while I've been on my mission. And I just wanted to go through those and show them to you guys. Now, there is a lot of stuff here, so I think that you'll be able to forgive me if I actually go through these kind of quickly, just because there's so many. That and there's a lot of spoilers and stuff in here that I'd rather not divulge for you guys, so you can just sit back and enjoy and see the drawings. So, just making sure everything is good and in the picture. Sorry for not maneuvering around very well, but I do kind of have like a semi-Iron Man leg cast on my leg. So sorry if you hear like me accidentally whack something and start crying. But this is a drawing of Crow that I actually did in pen. At the very start of my mission I actually didn't have any art supplies, so got a bit of a slice of humble pie and started with a pen. I kind of worked into that and got a pencil immediately. These are sketches of a character I designed which is known as Presto, but her design changes on later. This is Madara from Naruto. More designs of Presto. And yeah, I guess one cool thing I like about these is just the cross-hatching, because I didn't have a Sharpie until later on I actually get one. And I'll let you know, got a Sharpie here. So this is another drawing of Presto I made, and this was just a background that I tried replicating from something that I saw while I was in the Bronx. So, cool story. I was in the Bronx. There's that. Here's a drawing of Akuma being Akuma, known for being creepy, and I think the only thing that's actually scarier than her face in this picture is actually the background, because that was done in a very thin pen. That was one of these before I actually got to microns, so I just used these. And yeah, I do like how this drawing turned out. Mostly the trees. Those are some cool trees. Here is a drawing of Alan with a couple of Easter eggs in the background. And especially, most notably, a water bottle, because you always need to have water bottles. And it's mostly just background practice for this as well, which is what a few of these were. Kind of like with this one. And this was supposed to be Crow in a subway, but then I realized I don't think subways have 2 floors. So I was just like, Here is Presto again at a bus stop. Again, just really trying to draw my surroundings while I was in New York. That was pretty weird. Really cool though. A drawing of Crow. A drawing of a guy named Levi, which in short is Exodus's dad, but no final design on him yet. More background practice. More background practice, blah blah. And cool thing about this actually has a couple of Easter eggs from my desk on it, or at least the setup it was before. Here's my Blue Spark microphone. I wish I had a chair that was that comfortable, but whatever. I do like how the drawing came out. Here is Levi again, and he's in like a cool, I was going for cathedral-esque thing, and I think the thing I like most about this drawing is actually just how the plants turned out. This is where I figured out how to draw by not drawing. I think it's called negative space or something. So that was really cool. And here is hair practice. Exodus standing near a bodega, which was really cool. Need water. Then here is a drawing of Akuma in one of her many redesigns that you're going to see later on. Here's a close-up of her again. Here was a drawing that was supposed to be looking down a flight of stairs, but I didn't really want to loom over flights of stairs because I don't think references are worth it, and I'm also afraid of heights, so I figured it wasn't a very good idea to be standing over the edge of those. Then here was just some notes about making manga panels. Here's Crow in a school that's exploded. Crow and another little kid. This is actually a little Easter egg thing, but I won't tell anyone about it. Akuma again, this time in the broken building, which is the same one that Crow's actually in. So yeah, same part of the same scene. I actually drew this on Halloween just because I wanted to draw something creepy. Then here is Crow in casual clothing, and I guess the thing I like most about this drawing is actually just the rocks in the background. I think they actually came out really well. island and a background that I didn't decide to finish. I don't really know what I was going for. I just remember that I wanted a wall that had a kind of circle thing going on in the back. So, I did. Here is a drawing of Crow again, this time with her hair down, more background practice. The fences were kind of a pain in the butt. That was my favorite part about it though. More character designs, Crow playing Jenga. I promise I'm not insane, but yes, those were all drawn in by hand just because I wanted to see if I could do it. It's kind of just one of those days where I was drawing something and I'm just like, I know I can, but should I? Because if I do, I'm really gonna hate myself. So, of course I did it. I do like how the drawing turned out though. Here's kind of a character list of some of my characters. It's actually gotten even longer now. Practice of a dude sitting down. Murderous 2-page spread with Presto in it. This actually wasn't based off of a reference. I kind of just sat down one day and I decided I want to draw a lot of buildings and a lot of windows. So in other words, most of the backgrounds I tend to do most of the time. So I just sat down and I kind of drew this. It has a couple of Easter eggs in it, like Yankee Stadium, but that's not an actual reference. So yeah, it's kind of just a lot of buildings. This is one of those drawings that kind of wears away at the eyesight. It's one of those where you can kind of relate to Sasuke after overusing a Mangekyo Sharingan. Just be like, oh man, I can't take it. So that was that. And then here's where I actually got to microns. We actually went to a store and we saw that they were on sale, so I actually bought 2, and then I went back and got more later. So this is of another one of my characters. His name is Geki though. Probably slaughtered the pronunciation on that, but his name is Japanese for Fury. And he's in another one of my mangas that I'm actually working on. Here's a birthday drawing I did for Verly. Yeah, that's about it on that one. It has a lot of little Easter eggs in it as well. Here's Crow and she's older. Her name is Seva at this point, but that's all I'll explain about this one, other than those books were a pain in the butt to draw. And then just a pencil drawing. Madara with a mustache, aka Mustashara. And then just thumbnail practice for other things I was working on. And then there's Seva again, which is just Crow when she's older. Yeah, there's that on this one. And sorry if it seems like I'm going through these really fast, but there are a ton of drawings. Yeah. This book, though, is mostly a concept notebook for my ideas and my manga, so this one I really won't explain a lot about the things. I'll kind of just let you go through the drawings. And if I am going through these too fast, you can just feel free to pause the video and just go through these on your own. But yeah, there's a lot of details here associated to manga. I do like how these turned out, though. At this point, I actually got watercolors too, so it's like little by little, gradually upgrading. Here's another one of my characters. Her name is Nefi Perdida. She's actually from another manga that I have, which is called Hill Surrounded, but I'll probably get more to that one later. Here's a redesign of Akuma, again, one of the many. And here's realism with pen, which you should never do, unless you're insane. Here's a design of Crow's mom and her dad, and here's them both dying, because if you know how I am about character design, you know all the characters I design, I also design their graves right next to them. So here is another practice thing. This is just one of my characters. Her name is Nemui, which is Japanese for sleepy. She is actually the friend of Geki though, which is Fury, so there's like Sleepy and Fury, but she actually looks like she has a lot of fury on her own with this one, especially with the Kamehameha. Here is Nefi and Skotos, which is a monster again from Hill Surrounded, another one of my mangas. I'll probably make a speed paint about this to explain a little bit more about that manga to you guys, because yeah, I'm really not explaining anything, aren't I? Oh, I said this was a sketchbook update, not an update about any of the actual drawings in it. So here's realism practice that I tried to do when I finally remembered, oh hey, pencils exist, I should probably use those. So yeah, good thing about being on a mission, people aren't even creeped out by you asking to draw them, so it's just like, hey, can you stand still while I draw you? And then they kind of just do, and they're up for it, which is always cool. At this point, this is actually backtracking a little because I went through this sketchbook entirely this way first before I went back this way, but I actually got Prismacolors on a mission too. So like little by little, I'm actually upgrading in art supplies as these things go on. So here is Shadow Crow. I won't explain anything about that other than she has glasses and her hair is shorter and she's really nothing like Crow, but that's it. For saying I wasn't going to explain it a lot, I sure explained a lot. Here's the technical first drawings of Nido and Helios, which are Crow's parents. Cool thing about the name Nido though is it's actually Spanish for nest, because nest and crow nests. Yeah. Clever, huh? I know it's not. So here's a drawing of Exodus. Here's another update of my characters, but again, this isn't really a final one either. Here was just more character designs, and I guess a really useful thing about this sketchbook is I kind of learned how to draw in pen because I didn't want the pencil to smear. That's really the only reason I went through in pen with all of these, is because I didn't want pencil to smear in it. Here's Bamboo, here's Alan in a form that I won't explain, but then here's just some general character designs. Here's Akuma's redesign, which is closest to the actual one now. Yeah, that changed around a lot. Here is one of the companions I had on the mission. His name is Elder Rivera. Cool thing, I actually kind of just stole his iPad and then I drew him on this, and then he was pretty much looking away. This was close to the end of the night anyway, so he was just studying in the scriptures, and then I actually just pulled out his iPad, started drawing him, and then when he looked over, he's just like, "Whoa, is that me?" And I'm just like, "Yup, I'm not creepy." And yeah, here is more practice drawings. Here's a character reference sheet for Exodus that of course I changed because I tend to change my characters around a lot. Here's the closest to recent Akuma redesign. Here is a drawing of Neffy. This is actually the first drawing I made of her, which I guess I can tell you a story about her in a moment after I get a drink of water. So a cool thing about Neffy is that she is actually based off of a person we taught while I was on a mission in New York. The only reason we talked to her is, well, the only reason I talked to her is because she actually had the same beanie I do. So this beanie is an actual beanie, and we were just walking down the street and I saw that she had it and I talked to her, and that actually got a conversation started, and she ended up being super awesome. And that's actually why I decided to base this character design off of her. It's just kind of like an Easter egg reference to a mission. So yeah, Neffy actually has her own story to it, and that's also why her design is very based off of New York, because that's where I served my mission. This one's upside down, but this is more reference drawings of Nido and Helios, which are Crow's parents. They actually were very young when Crow died in the story, so that's why they look so young. But Helios is actually a pro boxer guy, and he actually has killed some shadows on his own. And then Nido can just give looks that would pretty much make a wall nervous. So yeah. Here is a paper that I put under the drawings to not have these smear, because you'll notice these are in pencil. And here is Crow when she was 9. This is actually a part of her design in Hill Surrounded, which is kind of like a prequel manga to Between Veils, which is the main manga that has Crow and Alan in it. In this one, Crow's actually younger, and this is actually how she gets her second eye in the story. Here's me being creepy and drawing people without telling them I'm drawing them. And that's Akuma being Akumu, synonymous with creepy. And then here's actually just the 3 main characters from Hill Surrounded. So there's Crow when she was 9, there's Neffy, and then there's the monster named Skotos, which is actually a shadow. Here is a drawing I actually made for one of my friends who is on a mission. He draws as well. His name is Elder Vieira. He actually has this shape-shifting monster which kind of looks like Skotos, so we decided to draw them fighting each other. And this is a drawing I made for him, but he actually made one for me too, so that was really cool. And then here's just some designs for Hills Surrounded. Here's Neffy with no beanie, and no beanie equals unhappy Neffy. And then that's Matthew. I actually also really like this one. Skotos looks really funny with a top hat. Here's some more designs of Crow when she was younger. More pen, because why not? Here's a drawing that I actually made, but then I cut out the bottom end of it because I actually wanted to put it on a Prismacolor case cover I have, which I can actually show you. So, Skittles logic. You always have doubles. But here's the original Prismacolor case, and I actually had another one, so I actually cut out the drawing there and put this on there. And that's what I decided to do with the drawing that was there. Now, as far as anyone wondering why I have two sets of Prismacolors, I actually got one right before a mission, like 2 weeks before I went on a mission, and I only got to use them very briefly. But on a mission, we actually met a lot of cool people that actually draw in New York as well. So they actually surprised me with the gift of more Prismacolors, and I was just like... Yeah, then afterwards, I cried internally, and I just made it a goal to use them as much as possible. Here is another drawing of Exodus that I did in watercolors. Yeah, that's about it. Here's designs for Shadow Crow again, and then that's just more designs for Presto. She's actually a villain in the story, but I don't know if you can tell at this point because she looks too friendly. I think Crow looks more evil than she does at that point. Then he has more practicing. Here's Presto in an unofficial, not really finished design, but this was just a watercolor thing I wanted to try, and I've also realized I've never drawn very much flowery stuff before, so I just decided to draw flowers, and then I didn't really want to make them pink, so I made them blue, just because I didn't want to make them pink. That's about it. That's the end of the story. Here is just more technical designs and stuff for my manga, and this is actually a dude that dies in Hill Surrounded. He's Neffy's brother. He actually finds out about the monster, and then he's actually the first one to see him face to face without needing the camera or anything, like is actually required in the story. So he just sees him, and then he's just like, oh hey, it doesn't take a genius to know that I'm about to die. And then if he knew that this was a Majictablitskittles manga, he would know it was soon. Gracias, pa. Then here is actually a drawing that Elder Vieta made for me. He actually drew Crow, and I drew a fan art of one of his characters as well. So that was a really cool kind of art trade. Even on missions, you can do art trades. Here is a drawing I made for Janessa of one of her characters with Prismacolors while I was still trying to figure out how to use them, because I actually hadn't used them very often at this point. Kind of just been raised on Crayola, so I was just like, fancy art supplies, how do I make art with them? So, kind of had to figure that out. Then here's just more designs, an alternate design for Akuma. Again, she tends to have a lot of those. This is the closest I got to an actual redesign before I actually redesigned it again later. So, I don't even really know what she looks like anymore. Here's a cool drawing that I made. This is actually, I think, my favorite drawing in the entire sketchbook, which is kind of weird, but I just like the composition of this altogether. Might make it speed paint out of that, but I just like this drawing in specific. And then there's Talia from Brody's Ghost. Here's actually a cool detail. If any of you know about Bamboo and Kiblo, Kiblo's actually his own character now. He turns into a giant panda that launches mouth lasers. Okay, and here is a drawing of Bamboo. And this is actually when I actually got the Prismacolor, so that's why I had just this drawing of Shadow Crow there, and then I just kind of drew this banner around it like Prismacolor upgrade. And that's actually why I decided to make this drawing of Bamboo. She actually has Kiblo, and she's around a huge stadium thing gonna fight somebody. Then here is just a test I tried of drawing different character hairstyles, and then also Crow in a different style, and I was just like, it's weird. Here is Shadow Exodus. Not anything at all like Exodus, but her hair is still pink, so I guess it's like Exodus. Here's actually a character design that Elder Vieta came up with. I kind of just had him draw something in my sketchbook, and I drew something in his sketchbook, so that was cool. But this is actually one of his characters. Over here is the design I came up with. A character, his name is Bones, but Elder Vieta actually gave the page to me, so I just taped it in the back here. Then here are more character designs I did. Here's Exodus and Crow in different styles, just because I wanted to try that out. Then here's Akuma in a different style. And then I just tried a couple of things out. Here are the four main characters of my main manga, just as Harry Potter characters. So that's Akuma, that's Alan, that's Exodus and Crow, and they're all like different houses in Gryffindor. I mean in Hogwarts, not... I got worse today! So, yeah, that's what's going on there. Here is a character from another manga that I'm working on. It's actually known as Remedy of the Ancients. This is a character, his name is Zarin Hartham, which if any of you actually know about the Book of Mormon, that's actually a cool Easter egg with his name. And his story is actually based off of one of the books in there. So that's really cool. But he's actually also immortal, and he's pretty much a leader of 2,000 people that aren't very good at fighting. So if anybody gets that reference, you guys are cool. And then just here's a pose of him yelling, "Baked potatoes!" Here is another practice page for Presto. I actually changed the way her face looks on this one to make her look a little more evil. And I actually found out 2 different kinds of skin shading. So here's a more tannish one, here's a more palish one. And I figured because she's evil, she could go with a little more palish one just because it makes her look creepier. But I actually might make a tutorial on how to shade skin tones later. So if you guys are up for it, just let me know. So there's this. Here's a drawing of Zay, kind of just being Zay. And I have the running joke in here that he's actually like an American socks dealer, so that's his daytime job. He's a sock dealer, or a sock salesman, not dealer. What? Anyway, so that's kind of what he does. Here's a drawing of me in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, just kind of being like, no, 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 no! I was going to color it, but I didn't get around to it. I might later. Maybe. Probably not. Here is just an overall page where I practice with a brush pen just because it seemed creepy, so I was just like, why not? I'll try it. So here's me being creepy. Here are more character pose references. Here is Presto and her twin sister. These designs are not final, but her name is Nvidia, which actually is Spanish for jealousy, and the two kind of look alike, but they kind of don't, and they have a lot of subtle changes. I would say the designs are mostly consistent, but the color schemes might be different. The hairstyles are different. They have the purple streak on the different size of hair. This one's a chalkboard design that's like more of a diamond pattern design. So yeah, subtle differences like the directions of the ribbons. But yeah, this is her twin sister that actually dies, which is why she goes bad. But that's enough with the spoilers. Here is another one of Neffy's brothers. His name is Oliver. He's actually based off of another missionary that I knew on my mission, and this is when he sees Skotos, and of course he's gonna die too. It's kind of a running trend. You see Skotos, you're pretty much dead on the next page. Here is a drawing I made of Crow, just because I needed to make a drawing of Crow. I'm under contractual obligation to do so every 20 pages. Here are character references that I would try to come up with, and I actually made one for Crow before I redesigned it on the next page. And yeah, if that was ever the closest you want to get to an official Crow reference, this is probably it, but before I tend to change it the next time, like I tend to do a lot. Funny thing about this one is I actually colored in these wing things. I don't know the name for them. I actually colored them in blue, but then I changed the design here. So I actually cut them out, got another piece of paper, colored under it, and then just taped it there. So it's just like, if I hadn't mentioned it, nobody would ever know. That's the extent I'll go to save my drawings. Then here's just some lettering practice for Hill Surrounded and Perdicia, which is another one of my manga. But I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. Or never. So here's Crow being Crow. Here's Crow if she were a Super Saiyan. This is actually a redesign of Farron, but going back to that other manga name you saw, Perdicia, you might remember that. I'll kind of just put in like a flashback of that. And yeah, so her deal is that her mom is a witch, and she actually tries to kill off everyone in her town. Her mom is the witch, and Zay's her dad. Her dad actually tries to save her, but yeah, I won't tell you more than that. Here's drawings with a pen. I actually like this came out though. Here's another drawing of Zay, and then just Ellen and Crow in their school uniforms that kind of redesigned. Those are probably going to be as great as I get with the school uniforms. I'll probably just leave those ones. Here's Crow in her Zapdos form, aka her spirit form, which is an actual thing in my manga. So yeah, new transformation. That's an actual thing. But you can also just call this Zapdos form for short. I'm pretty sure you can tell why. Ya is a drawing of... I know my own character's names, I promise. Akuma. Then here's Akuma being Akuma. Just pose practices, and then that's actually where I finished up before I actually started going backwards in the sketchbook over here. So that actually explains the logic to that one. Now I got through the biggest one. And here is a drawing book that I started recently, so here's just a realism drawing I'm working on. Here's a drawing of another OC I have. Her name is Koa. She's also from Remedy of the Ancients, kind of like Zarin. Yeah, so there's her design. Here's just a drawing that went nowhere. This was pen practice for Hills Surrounded. And then here's just Copic practice I actually did because around Christmas time, Nautica actually sent me a lot of Copics, and I was just like, what? But I also had no idea how to use them, so I kind of just took this page to try to figure out how to use them. And then I made this drawing with the grayscale one she gave me. So this is just a test cover or a practice cover for Hills Surrounded. So this is Neffy. That's Skodos, which is the monster, and then that's Crow when she was 9. I'll probably come up with an alias for her in the story. So yeah, that's a test cover I did. Here is Crow just sitting in the middle of a void. That's Bamboo in profound thought. Here's something that Elder Guerra did for me. He's another one of the missionaries. He was actually drawing in this book as I was leaving. So he just drew that for me. And there's me drawing Goku on a plane to give to my brother, which I still haven't finished. Then in the back we have some work in progress drawings that I'm working on that really haven't gone anywhere yet. Here's a drawing I'm working on for Fox of Nightmares. It's probably going to be the next speed paint I do, so don't tell him. Don't let him see that. This next book, though, that I'm going through is kind of just a book where I've put the finished color drawings that I have, but the ones that are too big to not fit in a sketchbook. But they're not all mine, because this is also my fan art book, so I might go through these and just tell you a little bit about them. So here's just a painting, or not a painting, a drawing I did of Jesus to try to learn how to color in Prismacolors, which I guess in theory using paint is a lot easier. But I made this. Then here are two paintings of Hills Surrounded, kind of just more test covers. So yeah, I'd say this is the manga that's the farthest along, other than They Chose Me, which is actually changed to Between Veils now. Or Inverse Catalog. I don't know what to call it anymore. I changed the names like 100 times. Here is a drawing I did of Theron and Zay before their designs changed. Here's a collaboration I did with Sue, which I believe there's actually a video for. So I can probably leave the link to that in the description as well. Then from here, I believe it actually goes on to fan art stuff, which I guess you can look through. So these are just fan arts that my friends have sent to me on mission, or just stuff I've had before. Not technically mine, but that drawing's mine. This is just Crow in an alternate design. Here's Perdistia, which is Farron's mom, Zay's wife, crazy witch lady. And here's a drawing that Elder Vieta made for me of me and him with our character's powers. I think that looks like me, right? And yeah. Here's a drawing I made of Exodus in her own kimono with a paint in the butt background to accommodate, and just her with another design later on. And yeah, I think, yeah, here's the first drawing I ever did of Koa, and I think that is it. Yep, that's it. So, sorry if that took a really long time. I was trying to go through it quickly, and I am also sorry if I did go through the drawings too quick and you didn't learn as much about them as you had hoped. But I also didn't want to take a lot of your time. So thank you for watching the video. Please let me know what your favorite drawings were, and also let me know what you think about my drawings. Have they gotten better or worse in the last year and a half? So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!